So, Danny, let's start with the news that Bailey Clements has gone out on loan for a month. What's the thinking behind that one?
I suppose it's like what we spoke about a while ago, about there's no fixed time or place or club regarding any loan for anyone. It can just happen at any time. Obviously, I think we felt that Brandon was just slightly ahead of Bailey in terms of fitness, because as Bailey was out for a bit, and this gives Bailey a chance to go and get some games at a good club, at our level. So hopefully do us a favour against some of our promotion rivals, or immediate promotion rivals, should I say. So, yeah, it was good. I mean, obviously with Miggs playing left back at the moment, and obviously Brandon ready to come in for him, and Bailey as well, then you think actually for three players for the same position might be one too many for this present time. So yeah, Bailey was more than happy to go and get games, just like Bailey Hobson at Kidderminster. They know it's for a reason. I think you saw Bailey Hobson scored a really good goal the other night, and the gaffer was saying that's the whole point of going on loan, not to get you out the building, but to go and really have some games and come back and give us all food for thought.
Were you looking to loan Bailey Clements out, or was that one that just sort of came out the blue a little bit? Yeah,
it just came out the blue in terms of, Eastleigh came in after a fullback. We're happy to oblige. And like I said, I think we just felt that with the weeks and weeks that Bailey was out injured, it really is great for him and us, by the way, because it gets him back to us fitter when we do get him back in the building.
And could that be the same for someone like Harley Curtis, who's probably been in that same sort of position as Bailey Clements and Bailey Hobson?
Maybe, maybe not. I suppose that's for the manager and Harley to decide at whenever point that is. But what I would say on that is if you've got Griggy, Quiggs, if one of them was to pull up, and because we only play one real out and out forward, I suppose we might need Harley in and around it, but then you can get loans in, etc. So yeah, not really for me to say that one, but at the minute we've got no intentions of Harley going out.
To Maidenhead then tomorrow, a team who down there we have struggled at since we dropped down to the National League. Why do you think it is that ourselves and bigger clubs as well have struggled down there against them?
Good question. I think it's you got to be careful how you answer these questions, because sometimes it comes across a bit disrespectful and patronising, to other teams. I do feel that. I can only talk for the first time I went there with Chesterfield. I think we lost 3-2, even though we were up near the top of the league. And I thought that night, specifically, they played the slope really well on the pitch. So a discussion we had that night at staff of what end to kick in first, and hearing from the Maidenhead camp sort of after was that they always like to kick down the slope first. And then sort of get in front and then defend it second half. That was then, I'm not saying that's their tactics at all. So my point being is that I think that's a reason, because it is a hell of a slope on the pitch. I also think that they've got a real mentality of sort of us against the world, and I think that's why Alan's done so well with that team, keeping them in the league over the years, because everyone knows they're not one of the bigger clubs with support base or resources, and to stay in the league and have as many good players and play some good football like they do is a credit to them all. So it's an extremely tough game, and I think that's why they get the respect they deserve, because they don't roll over. They've got some good players who, by the way, go on to bigger and better things sometimes and make the club a lot of money. So he knows what he's doing on the recruitment side. And like I say, the stats don't lie and results don't lie, and they've beaten ourselves, Wrexham, Notts County, Grimsby, all those teams over the last few seasons, and rightly so. So we know it's going to be a really tough game. Why no one really wins there much? I suppose that's the million-dollar question, but hopefully we put that right tomorrow.
I suppose you've got lots of players in the team now who have played down there quite a few times, so you're going down there with some experience, that it's not a total shock for everyone. No,
exactly. And listen, I think this is the beauty of this league, because we're very blessed and fortunate here with the stadium and facilities we have. As our teams like Oldham, even like Barnet, teams that are up there solid, they've got lovely facilities and what have you, and there's other clubs, not so much, and they still do so well. And no one's got a divine right to get out this league, and no one's got a divine right to get relegated. And that's what's so good about this league, because there is such a contrast in, I suppose, in histories of clubs and size and statures, and it doesn't mean anyone's got any right than other to win a football game. So we'll go down there, giving them the utmost respect, understanding that we haven't had a good record there. I'm all for saying that, records go out the window, but in the back of our head, we want to turn a corner with that record tomorrow.
Given all sort of the conditions down there, do you have to change the way that you play a little bit?
No. I mean, we say about conditions. I think that the pitch is always really good. The pitch this season there has been lovely. Yes, it's a bit of a slope, but a lot of teams have slopes. But the pitch itself is nice. It's a very welcoming little ground. So, in terms of the conditions, I don't think that's any sort of excuse for anyone. What I will say is that we don't tend to try and change our approach on games, home or away. Although, as you've seen, Ebbsfleet and Rochdale, we have had a slightly more defensive mindset at times when we've taken the lead, which, not everyone behind the ball, but maybe fine-tune it a little bit into just a defensive mindset. And that I think is credit to the players to take that upon themselves when they do take the lead. Obviously, it's something that we've spoke about within the dressing room. I think we go down there, we play our normal game, understand their threats like any other team, understand our record there, and try and put it right.
7 wins in a row now. The first time that's happened in 56 years. Was that spoken about a little bit on the coach back at all? Any sort of talk about that?
It was mentioned once or twice, because it's a great stat, and that stat, regardless of the history and the record-breaking facts behind it, has enabled us to go 5 points clear of the National League. So that's the main benefit of those good runs. Because obviously, if it's 7 games without a win, and last season was it 10 or something? We went without a win at some point. We had a really, really dodgy time, and like I say, still nearly got promoted at Wembley. We looked at that stat as well, going, "Oh, we've got to win soon." So with this stat, it's opposite and going, "No, we don't want to lose soon. We've got to keep it going." The lads were aware of it. Staff were aware of it. And who's to say that run can't carry on? Some people will say, well, sooner or later that's going to stop, but why should it?
When you're a manager or a coach or a player and you're involved in a record like that, is it something that you sort of reflect on at the end of the season? You look back on it and say, wow, what a good run that was, and we won promotion, etc. Yeah,
and I suppose in a way, Liam, if that run happens again, I hope it doesn't stop, but if it was to stop, it happens again towards the end of the season, and that record helps get over the line, you're probably more likely to remember that recent memory, aren't you, of what helped you get over the finish line with such aplomb. But I do think that these things, after the dust settles on a season, you do look back, and I think within this 7 games we've showed all different types of qualities. Like we said after the game the other night, coming back from behind against Hartlepool was a great catalyst, wasn't it? Because at 2-0 down, you thought the world was going to end, and we thought, oh wow, what's happening here? And all of a sudden, bang, 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 you get the win, and we go on a good bit of a journey. So we hope that journey continues. We're so early into the season, by the way. We're so early, but to have seven, like you say, that record of 7 on the trot is incredible. We want to carry it on.
In a strange sort of way, were you quite more encouraged by that second half performance, that it was a clean sheet and a professional display, rather than saying winning the game 4-3? Were you more encouraged that it just ended 2-1 and you saw it out?
I think it's I get what you're saying. I won't say more encouraged, but it's lovely to see that side of us is in us. That makes sense. So I think I said to you after that, at Fylde it was absolute cruise control, wasn't it? And then it turned into, come on, ref, blow your whistle. Now, I mentioned the other night that obviously we wanted the ref to blow up at 2-1 because we want to win the game. But you just felt we were defensive, right? We felt there was a structure to our play. There was a solidity, and there was a belief that we could play for another 20 minutes. And as much as Rochdale done okay on the night, I thought we shut them down at every opportunity. So, yeah, obviously, it is an argument. Do you want to win 4-3 in the last minute with the excitement, or win 2-1 like the other night? I suppose it was nice for everyone to see that different type of win.
And in terms of tomorrow, then, no Mike Jones, obviously, because he's suspended now. What you've got some really strong options, whoever you decide to pick, haven't you, to come in? Yeah,
really good options. And as much as obviously you were potentially choosing a couple midfielders out of 4, now it's a couple midfielders out of 3, or we might play all 3. We don't know yet. So whatever we do, I'm sure it'll be. We know we're putting good players on the pitch. Disappointing to lose Mike. But the benefit is obviously after Maidenhead, then he starts from scratch, or carries on. With get a few more bookings before he gets suspended again. So sometimes the world works in mysterious ways, and it obviously gives a chance for DJ or Banksy or Tom Naylor, or all 3 to come in and play and try and keep the shirt for themselves.
And I imagine that they're all raring to go. You know, DJ and Ollie Banks probably haven't had maybe as much game time as they would have liked, but the competition's just so strong, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was talking to DJ the other day about it actually, and he just said it's tough because they're all such close mates. So it's not like certainly other dressing rooms I've been in where, you know, you don't like the person playing your shirt, and you know, there's a bit of a few clicks flying about and a few daggers thrown across the dressing room. It's hard because, you know, like DJ was saying, that they all get on so well, so they're actually genuinely pleased for each other when you win. And like I've said to you many a time after the game, the lads are not involved. They're such a close-knit set of lads. Within that, of course, they want to be the ones playing. It means a lot more if you're starting than not being involved. That, you know, that's stating the obvious, but it is a close knit. So whoever plays, they know that the ones not will be supporting them from the side.
And have you got any other concerns or doubts for tomorrow?
No, fingers crossed. As always, be very light. Travelling down today, lucky enough to do that. So we're travelling down today. As it stands, no injuries. Hopefully, it'll be such a light session that nothing, touch wood, comes out the morning. We don't come out with any setbacks. But no, the fit set of lads. Looking at the injury list this morning, I think Shex is probably only a week away now, potentially. Bailey's obviously going out to get himself really up to match fit to hopefully come back and help in our push. Same with Bailey Hobson. And obviously, you know, all of a sudden you've only got one or two left in the stand tomorrow, potentially. So, yeah, it's a good squad, but with a couple going out, we want to make sure that we keep everyone fit.